8 months ago, I started a kitchen renovation, and what it became is this. Welcome to the third and final installment of the North Slope Kitchen Build Out, where today we will finish, reveal, and share what this chapter really has meant. Here's what's left to finish out the space. We have under cabinet lighting as well as trim out for the beverage station, oak floating shelves for the rest of the kitchen, the new dining island, as well as styling for the final reveal. So let's get it done. Since I've never actually done under cabinet lighting before, I thought this might be a perfect opportunity to do so, just because this side of the kitchen is really going to be a little bit heavier in the sense of it's the only area that's going to have upper cabinets. Everything is kind of more hidden storage, whereas the rest of the kitchen on this side is going to be more open shelving, so that way guests can always know where things are and be able to readily find things. And also I'm going to put things like coffee maker, microwave on this side, so that way you can have the majority of your space clutter-free and then access to everything over on this side. So I was thinking under cabinet lighting might help illuminate and draw some attention, while at the same time for overnight hours, guests can actually leave just the under cabinet lights on to be a little bit of ambient lighting to be able to navigate a house that you're not used to in the middle of the night and be able to walk around or get that midnight snack. So I've never installed these before. I wanted to do a little bit of a test fit just to see how they all work and function, and also test to ensure that they work. So these are good to go, and they are 18-inch bars. They have these little electrical connectors that allow you to expand up to 10 for one switch. And then there's these little mounting brackets that you put underneath the cabinet to allow for it to clip into place. And so what I've done is I used a piece of cardboard from the box, the packaging, put a little hole in there that is the exact dimension of from where this edge is to center. So that way I could mark my spacing, use this and my hole punch to be able to know where I'm going to need to put the screws for the mounting locations. And then from there, we'll drill holes for the outlet that I have hidden in the cabinet on the side, so that way everything is really a custom look and won't be too distracting with wires hanging down or anything like that. Let me get you up real fast. I meant to show you the full install, but my phone ran out of storage, and trust me, installing these lights more than once isn't a good idea. So what I'm doing here is drilling a cable through the side so I can hide the ballast and plug everything in cleanly. Then I'm mounting the ballast under a shelf to save space and keep it neat. Quick project, big upgrade. All right, what do you think? Got the undermount light in, and everything is working. I have a few things left to tidy up. As you saw, the wiring needs to be all tucked away, as well as I need to set up the wireless remote so that way you can operate the undermount lights with a switch. But I think in terms of just seeing the effect, it's going to be very nice, especially if that's the only thing on in darkness. It's not too bright, and also will help illuminate things that are kind of hidden on this side. So we got a big delivery today. Let's check it out. These took a while to come in just because they're custom, and I actually had to do a lot of research for this product because these are our floating shelves. And what's interesting about this is that I wanted them to be in oak. We live in a forest where oak grows, and you would think that it would be pretty easy to find. However, getting something at the proper dimensions was pretty difficult. So I found, let's see, this is pretty dang heavy. Yes, this is awesome. So we've got a white oak shelf from Ultra Shelf, custom made. It has these built-in brackets, so that way everything will sit really flush. Pretty stoked about this. All right, I've got this beefy bracket out of the shelf and ready to be mounted. So my process for doing this is I'm going to find the center point of the bracket, the center point on the wall, and then also mark out all of my stud locations and fasten this to the wall. Before doing so, I also have a couple of shims in place that will give me enough lift for the bracket so that way the shelf itself can fit and then cover the entirety of the bracket portion, so that way it's completely hidden and not obstructed by the backsplash or anything. And just like that, we've got this shelf in place. I would say it's a little too tight. I think on my next run, I'm going to go a little bit taller than I have this one, just slightly, just so I have a little bit of a gap. But I think overall, this looks really, really nice. So pretty pumped about this. So this is going to continue on. I thought about doing, 2 rows of shelving, and I think actually just one shelf will be, perfect for what I'm looking for, what I want to do. So yeah, just install the rest and go from there.
So just like the first shelf, I found the stud location for the mounting plate and then place shims underneath the mounting bracket so that way everything would fit in nice and flush, and then continued that around as I went for the thinner shelves along the stove wall. This really was an easy install and really happy with the result.
Floating shelves are in, and I have to say the quality from Ultra Shelf is top notch. These things are beautiful to look at. The finish is absolutely perfect. The measurements that I provided to them are spot on what I've received. The install ease was pretty dang easy. All you needed to really do is find where your studs were, find the center point of the bracket, and mount it on the wall. And then what's most important, the overall strength of these things. This thing's not going anywhere. I'm trying very hard to move it and it's not even wobbling, especially considering how far this thing is sticking out. uh, there's no concern whatsoever putting any type of dishes and having the shelf itself fail.
Just had the dining island delivered, a piece I had commissioned to be both functional and beautiful. It's built at counter height with bench seating on one side so it can serve as a prep space during the day and dining table at night. The idea was to create a centerpiece that brings everyone together, whether you're cooking, working, or sharing a meal.
Trim work is the key to taking a project from good to great. It requires a lot of time and effort to get everything just dialed in perfectly, but that's what I'm going to be doing here today. So need to install the trim pieces underneath the cabinet as well as up top, and this section will be done.
Before the review, I went out to the flower field we planted last spring. Though autumn is coming fast and many blooms have since wilted, there are still some wonderful flowers to be had, and I wanted something living to be part of this moment. A reminder that building a home isn't just about lumber and tile, it's about creating a place that grows with you. It's quiet out, it's late, and it's time for my favorite step in the process, and that is putting things in their final place. When designing this kitchen and thinking about it as a vacation rental, when I myself have been a guest, it's easy to not feel familiar in a kitchen because you don't know where things are and you spend a lot of time hunting for things. So I thought, why not have a kitchen with open shelves? That way, everything is visibly accessible and adds an element of comfort because you can feel right at home as opposed to not knowing where things are. At the same time, though, open shelves can really create a bit of clutter or messiness if not done right. So I've started with a few items and I wanted to make sure that most items have utility in terms of something that's usable while at the same time adding visual interest. I may take some things down or add some things later, but I think this would be a great start to really get a feel of how this kitchen is going to function and look. Mortar and pestle, important for every kitchen. Are you ready? It's the moment we've been waiting for. Come check it out. If you've followed since episode 1, I offer you a sincere thank you. I hope this encourages you to take on that project you've been putting off, even if it scares you a little. This kitchen marks a huge milestone, but it's far from the end. There are still rooms left unfinished, spaces waiting for their turn, the living room, bedrooms, bathrooms, and everything in between. So while this kitchen chapter closes, the story of this house is just the beginning. I'll be sharing every step as we finish this home, one room at a time. So if you've enjoyed the build so far, subscribe and come back soon. There's still a lot left to craft here. Postcards, new start, new road, new me, and the universe aligns.